Most people are busy. The top 1%? They're focused. That's why they win, while everyone else burns out. You ever feel like you're doing everything right, but nothing is changing? Like you're grinding, hustling, staying up late, checking every box, yet still stuck? Here's the truth. The top 1% aren't working more than you. They're thinking differently. They've built tiny, unsexy habits that compound into massive results, and most of them, you've never heard about. In this video, I'm revealing 4 mindset habits the 1% live by, that nobody's talking about. These habits can rewire how you think, work, and show up. And the best part? You can start doing them today. Habit 1, the clarity filter. Don't start the day until you've won the morning. Let me tell you about Daniel. He runs a 7-figure agency, but his mornings, completely silent. No emails, no messages, no Instagram, no news. He spends the first 30 minutes alone, in thought, asking one question. What 3 things will make today a win, even if I do nothing else? He writes them down. Then he executes. That's it. That's the habit. The 1% don't start their day reacting. They start by creating. They don't open their phones and get pulled into chaos. They open a notebook and create direction, because clarity, not speed, wins the race. If you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. Try this tomorrow. Before touching your phone, write down your 3 highest impact tasks. This is your clarity filter. Anything else is noise. Let me ask you something. How do you spend the first 90 minutes of your workday? For most people, it's email, Slack, responding to problems. But the 1%, they protect those 90 minutes like gold, because momentum is a chemical reaction. When you start the day solving someone else's problems, you lose control. But when you spend it solving your problems, writing, building, coding, selling, you build self-trust. There's science behind this. Research shows that dopamine, your motivation chemical, is highest in the first part of the day. But we waste it scrolling, answering, reacting. Not the 1%. They go deep, they create leverage, they move the needle, before the world wakes up. Jeff Bezos, Tim Cook, and even Maya Angelou had this in common. They built systems around protecting their early hours. So what should you do? Pick a high-value, uncomfortable task, and attack it before your brain has time to make excuses. It might feel weird at first. You'll feel unproductive not checking messages. But do this for 7 days, and watch what happens. There's a scene in The Office where everything's on fire and everyone's yelling. That's how most people run their lives. Always reacting, always busy, always playing defense. But the 1%? They think like generals, not soldiers. They ask, is this urgent or is this important? The difference? Urgent = screaming notifications, messages, requests. Important = quiet, strategic, compounding, like your health, learning, content, deep work. Let me give you a metaphor. Imagine you're in a boat with 20 tiny holes. Water is rushing in. You keep grabbing buckets to empty it. You're working harder than ever, but the boat's still sinking. Now imagine stopping, plugging 3 of the worst holes first. That's what the 1% do. They don't respond to everything. They respond to what moves their life forward, even if it's not urgent right now. Want a brutal example? Your physical health. No one's messaging you to hit the gym. No one's pinging you to eat better, but if you don't prioritize it, it will become urgent later, through pain, exhaustion, or worse. So ask yourself, what am I ignoring today that I'll regret next year? Then go handle that first. Here's a truth bomb. The 1% mindset isn't public, it's private. It's what happens after the meeting, after the win, after the applause. Most people chase public progress. The 1% stack private disciplines. Think of this like building a skyscraper. Most people show up with fancy glass and mirrors. The 1% start underground. They dig, quietly, for weeks, months, sometimes years. By the time the world notices, they've already laid 40 feet of foundation. This is the invisible stack. It's what happens when they read instead of scroll, when they journal instead of vent online, when they take a walk and process instead of react, when they choose 1 focused hour instead of 8 distracted ones. Nobody claps for these habits, but they're what make the difference. Want to find your invisible stack? Look at your last 48 hours. Where did your time go? Would you be proud if it was displayed on a screen? Start tracking it, not to feel guilt, but to build awareness, because that's where transformation starts. Let's pause for a second. If these habits are so powerful, why don't more people do them? Simple. They're invisible, quiet, unrewarded. Ready to upgrade your mindset? Watch this next video. It'll shift how you see your time forever.